Resources. This is Tom Baker with ESRI. Hi, Tom. How are you this morning?
Great. Doing well.
So, what is ESRI and how can it help teachers?
Sure. ESRI, or ESRI, stands for Environmental Systems Research Institute. We make geographic information systems. So these are desktop and web-based mapping tools. Think geographic mapping tools that help you understand the world by either mapping data or analyzing it. Our company is a global business, and of course we have customers and clients in over 350,000 organizations, so lots of people use this in a lot of different career paths and directions.
So I'm thinking right now, like if governments were, let's say, mapping the outbreak of some disease or some virus, they might be using your tools to do that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Anything from a disease vector to, of course, plate tectonic activities, to mapping, say, Civil War battle sites and how fronts moved throughout engagements, military engagements. On the science side, social studies side, we even connect into American Lit and mathematics, because you think about all these problems or these areas of rich inquiry, and almost all, I should say, all of them have spatial data and spatially oriented problems that we can address.
So I know that teachers will look at this and they'll say, wow, lots of data, lots of numbers, lots of, must be for high school kids, college kids, but it actually is for like a lot of grade levels, not just high school, right?
Absolutely. We have prepared materials for schools, and I should preamble this by saying everything we have for classroom instruction is free. So that includes our software, ArcGIS Online, which runs in a web browser, which will run on a Chromebook, an iPad, a regular laptop. But we have prepared materials such as GeoInquiries that are designed for any number of classrooms and grade levels. So what you're seeing now is actually a collection for government and civics. So in these activities, and I have 10 different collections, we pre-build the map for the educator, we tie it to standards, and then we offer a verbal activity teachers can walk the students through around the map. The map can be on the overhead or it can be on the students' devices. The educator then would finish up the verbal activity, and these are the technical tips that the educator would need to know in order to deliver the activity. We have textbook ties as well as extensions, and of course it's under Creative Commons, so they can easily modify and mark it up to their liking.
Free is good.
It is. And what I just showed you was one of 10 collections. So you'll see that there are, in the social studies arena, world geography, human geography, government, civics, U.S. history, and world history. In science, we have earth science and environmental science. But we've also got collections, and they're all modeled the exact same way for American literature as well as mathematics.
So I think that a lot of teachers might have the misconception that this type of material is only for the sciences or only for the mathematics or mathematical sciences. But like you were saying, it covers pretty much the gamut of everything, all the social sciences as well. It covers, you could probably make a map of pretty much anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if we take a glance at the American Lit collection, you know, it's easy enough to tie into storylines that are rich with geography or have some sort of place-based narrative. And so that's what we've done. And the same thing applies to math. The math collection is heavy on geometry and algebra. Geometry is probably an obvious connection. But the idea is that there's a lot of spatial aspects and attributes to our data or data around us, and how we can teach with it.
Yeah, and so again, it's all online.
It is.
It's all free.
It is.
Do teachers have to take courses to get to this, or is it? How do they do that? Because I know in the past they had to take a course to get certified. Is that still the situation?
Not at all. Especially if you do something like the GeoInquiries that we were just showing. You can actually pick one of these documents up, 2 pages. I would obviously read through it, rehearse it a little bit, especially the first time. And most teachers can deliver it immediately or within a few minutes.
So how does this type of tool, this mapping tool, how can students use it or use that knowledge for after they graduate? Like what kind of employment opportunities are available for students with this kind of knowledge?
Sure, yeah. GIS today really runs the gamut from traditional cartographic mapping and design that you might find in, say, a county or city mapping or planning office, up to Fortune 500 companies that use it for business analytics. Think of the case of, say, Starbucks, where you need to know not only supply chain management and logistics, which you might use a GIS to manage, but you also need to know how to do something called site suitability, picking out where the next franchise needs to pop up. In order to understand where to put that franchise, you might need to understand population demographics, zoning ordinances, probably even morning traffic flow, and it's always nice to know what part of a community will pay $5 for a cup of coffee.
I know that, or won't pay $5.
Exactly.
I know that we talked earlier about Stanley Mubako, who used to work at University of Texas at El Paso. He always would give an example of a class project where students mapped out where liquor stores were located in a town, and then they took that information and went to a city council meeting and demonstrated that these liquor stores were always targeting the poorest, the lowest socioeconomic areas of town, and they wanted to know why. Why was the city doing that? And the city actually changed their way of granting licenses or whatever they do and so that's an example of how they can use these tools for civic responsibilities as well.
Absolutely. What we've been looking at with GeoInquiries uses a tool called RTS Online. But that idea of investigating what businesses, for example, are in a community is included for schools at no cost as a part of community analyst. So much like the liquor store phenomena, it could be payday loans. It could be access to organic fruits and vegetables in local groceries. All these things that we see spatial differences in, largely based on socioeconomic factors. Students can empower their own investigations through some of these pre-constructed data.
Because we're always wanting students to get involved with community projects. We're always wanting students to do real world connections with their learning, and this type of tool, the ESRI, is a great tool for doing that.
We think so.
Tom Baker, thanks for talking this morning. I got that right?
Thank you. Yes, you do.
And if teachers are interested, where do they go?
Yeah, on the web, it's esri.com/schools. That'll take you to the main page. If you want to reach me directly, tbaker@esri.com, and I'm happy to help get you in the right direction.
Thanks for talking to us this morning. Appreciate it, Tom.
Thanks for the opportunity.